Hello and welcome to this video to do with problems arising from business growth. What do these businesses all have in common? Well, once upon a time, these were all businesses with the largest market share in their market. And how many of them have you heard of now? It's true to say that many businesses suffer from being too big, and that's what we're going to look at in this video. Our objectives in this video are to look at what might be the problems arising from business growth. 1. Diseconomies of scale. 2. Internal communication issues. And 3. Overtrading. Let's start off with diseconomies of scale. Diseconomies of scale are when unit costs rise as a result of the business increasing in size. So economies of scale is falling average costs. When a business gets so large that actually it loses efficiency and average costs start to rise again as it gets bigger, we call this process diseconomies of scale, rising average costs, and that's not desirable for a business. Rising unit costs will make a business less competitive, and as a result they're either going to have to raise prices or maintain the same price and just put up with less profit per product. Now, why might this happen as businesses grow? Why might they experience rising average costs? Well, 3 broad categories include communication issues. So as businesses grow and the chain of command gets longer or the span of control gets wider, there might be a risk that communication is not as effective, people become less efficient, are uncertain what they're doing, things take longer, and the cost per unit rises. Occasionally you might argue too much technology might cause this. For example, people Skyping rather than meeting face to face, or being on a global scale in different time zones, making things difficult to locate. The second one is coordination and control. So if you have a very large business with a very large supply chain, perhaps bits being manufactured in different countries and then sent to another country where they're assembled, and all this going on, it might be very difficult to coordinate that process and control it. As a result, there may be wastage in that process. The process may not be very efficient, and so average costs may start to rise. And the last one is alienation. This used to be my number in my previous career, and I used to receive emails saying, "Dear 873376." That made me feel not too good about myself, and as a result, there's a risk if you're too big and you don't know your workers individually, you treat them as a number, not a name, they become demotivated, less productive, and costs may start to rise. Another issue with growing too big is the problems with internal communication. So communication is about transferring information to the right people on time and in a format they can understand, between different functions, between headquarters and branches, and across different sites. But as a business grows, communication becomes more complex and more difficult, and it relies on a willingness of all parties to share information. So there may be ineffective communication where the top of the organisation thinks everything's fine, but messages are not being passed down, and as a result, inefficiency and costs start to rise. The last negative potential problem of growing too much is overtrading. Now, this is when a business grows too fast without the finances or the resources to fund the expansion. So, for example, spending lots of cash buying new stock can use up cash too quickly, and the business can risk going insolvent. Now, there are a number of reasons why a business may overtrade. Maybe they don't have enough capital to start off with. Maybe they're offering too much trade credit to attract customers. Or maybe they're operating with slim profit margins in the first place. So in this video, we've looked at problems arising from growth. Diseconomies of scale as businesses grow and average costs rise. Problems potentially that arise with internal communication, and problems growing too fast in terms of overtrading. Thank you. Goodbye.